What's up, guys? D-Rock1992 here. For this next video and for my next review, I am going to be reviewing the next Marvel movie after Thor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It comes up as the 5th Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, and that is Captain America the First Avenger. It comes the same year as Thor. It was released the same year as Thor in 2011. Like I said, the 5th Cinematic Universe movie. And this tells the story of Captain America, or Steve Rogers, and his origin story. He tries to get into World War II, but he's rejected because he's so sickly. He has every disease known to man. A scientist gives him a chance to be a super soldier in the super soldier program. There's this super soldier program that is going on, and the scientist that Steve Rogers befriends, he wants him to be the first test subject of it. So he gets injected with serum, or Steve Rogers gets injected with serum and goes into this machine, and then he comes right out of it, and he is taller, more muscularly pronounced for sure. And at first, he starts out by being a public brand name, tries to sell war bonds to the war effort, because this goes on in World War II. But eventually he becomes a hero. He was destined for more than just a showstopper, basically. He was destined to be more than that, more than just an attraction. He was destined to do great things and be a superhero. So in this movie, he has to stop this Nazi program called Hydra that's headed by this guy named Schmidt. This guy named... Let me see. I want to get his name right. Johann Schmidt / Red Skull. So he has to stop him basically from unleashing this thing called a Tesseract, which unleashes power. This was in Thor, I believe, too. They had this Tesseract. This Tesseract device is very important in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think it was a Tesseract in Thor, or powers of the. It was powers of the Frozen Giants, basically. But anyway, getting back to Captain America, Winter Soldier, he has to stop. So Captain America has to stop Johann Schmidt before he unleashes the Tesseract and pretty much wreaks havoc around the world. He would use it to destroy major cities and things like that. You know, New York City, Chicago, things like that. A lot of major cities around the world. So that's basically what it is. He has to stop Red Skull from his evil plans. Characterization. Chris Evans comes in and plays Captain America, and Steve Rogers as well. Tommy Lee Jones. The great Tommy Lee Jones. I like him a lot as an actor. Plays Colonel Chester Phillips, who is the leader of Project Rebirth, he's the head of the Super Soldier program. I think he basically is. Hugo Weaving plays Johann Schmidt / Red Skull. I've heard of him before. He's been in a few movies. Hayley Atwell plays Peggy Carter, who is the love interest of Captain America and an officer with the Super Soldier program. It's a strategic scientific reserve, is what it's called. Sebastian Stan plays Sergeant James Bucky Barnes. There's a connection with Iron Man in a way, because Dominic Cooper plays Howard Stark, who's the father of Tony Stark. A little bit of a connection between those two. Stanley Tucci plays Dr. Abraham Erskine, the scientist who recruits Steve Rogers to become Captain America, to basically give him the powers and all that, to make him into a super soldier. Samuel L. Jackson, right at the end of the movie, plays Nick Fury. Another appearance from him. And, those are pretty much the major people. Chris Evans does a very nice job as Captain America. He does a great job. You really can't see anybody else play Captain America. He had experience coming in, too, to Captain America. He actually rejected that Captain America 3 different times before finally accepting. So he may not have had Chris Evans as Captain America had he not changed his mind. Now, I say Chris Evans has some experience with Marvel because he was in the Fantastic Four movies, those 2 Fantastic Four movies. Fantastic Four, I think it came out 2005, and then 2007's Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. He played Johnny Storm, the fire guy. Transforms into a fire object, or fireman, basically. You almost could call him Fireman, but he's Johnny Storm. So he had experience playing Marvel characters, and I think that really helped him in portraying Captain America. And he did a very good job as Steve Rogers as well. Tommy Lee Jones does a great job. He's one of the highlights of the movie to me. Tommy Lee Jones, he knows how to act. He plays the skeptical colonel, the skeptical general. I think he's played characters like that before, but Tommy Lee Jones, very good role for him. Hugo Weaving does a great job as the villain, Red Skull. And I think Red Skull is one of the best villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Not as good as Loki, but still very good. Hayley Atwell plays Peggy Carter. I think she, as Captain America's love interest, at first she's this tough-as-nails woman, tough-as-nails English woman. Think about that for a second. Basically, she grows to love Captain America. They grow into a romantic interest together, and basically, they fall in love with each other, and they develop a good relationship. Sebastian Stan plays a small role as Sergeant James Bucky Barnes, who is Steve Rogers' friend. He does a pretty good job. Dominic Cooper does a great job as Howard Stark. It's a very good role for him. Stanley Tucci, in the small role that he had at the beginning of the film, he was very good as Dr. Abraham Erskine. And, of course, Samuel L. Jackson's in there to tie up everything, tie up all the events of Avengers and things like that. He appears at the end of the movie. There's a major spoiler at the ending that I'm not going to spoil, but because, maybe some of you haven't seen the first Captain America, but it's a good little... It's a major spoiler, and something that kind of ties in with the Avengers, which is the movie that comes right after Captain America First Avenger. And about the movie in general, the movie itself got a... Let me see here. Captain America 1, it got a 79% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a good score. It's a solid, good score. My opinion about the movie is I really like this film. I had watched it before for the... it was a while back. I watched it before, and I wasn't really crazy about the movie the first time I saw it. I'll be honest, I wasn't really crazy about it. I watched it just yesterday for the second time, and I really liked the movie. I really like this movie a lot. It's a very good Marvel movie. I liked it better than I liked it the first time. There's some great characters in the film. Hayley Atwell as Peggy Carter, Chris Evans in particular, Hugo Weaving, Tommy Lee Jones. And Stanley Tucci. Those are the 5 major characters in there that were the highlights for me personally. They were the for the 5 main, and Dominic Cooper as Howard Stark. Those were the 6 main characters in the movie that had great performances throughout the film. And because of that, and I like the blockbuster aspect combined with the 40s feel, because this movie set in the 1940s during World War II, and the villain is a Nazi, and basically, the two go together, the 1940s feel with the blockbuster feel, and the 1940s feel has some great 1940s music. There was some great music from the 40s, and it was a perfect soundtrack for the movie in general, capturing the essence of the 40s, basically. My review of it, I give it a complete 5 out of 5 stars. I'm rating these Marvel movies very high because they're very good movies. They're not just very good Marvel. They're not just good movies. They're not just good Marvel movies. They're good movies in general. They're just awesome. This one's a very good film. I would put it slightly above Thor, maybe a little bit below. I'm not really sure, but I give it the same review I've given Iron Man 2, and Thor. 5 out of 5 stars. Some great characters, some great action scenes, especially one at the end between Red Skull and Captain America. And it was just a very good movie overall. D-Rock, and that is it for this video on Captain America First Avenger. D-Rock 1992 out.